Isaiah chapter 58 and verse 1. Cry aloud, spare not, lift up thy voice like a trumpet, and show my people their transgressions, and the house of Jacob their sins.
Copyright disclaimer. This content does not belong to Bible Chronicles or claim this intellectual property. The content provided today has and always will belong to the content owner. Bible Chronicles does not have any affiliation with the owner of this property. As mentioned, Bible Chronicles did not intend to make use of any material for the purpose of harvesting gain. However, Title 17 of United States copyright law states material and use can only be done when it's for theological or general educational purposes, and thus Bible Chronicles believes that this principal material falls under fair use, which honors protection under Section 107 of the same U.S. copyright law.
Every man's heart one day beats its final beat. His lungs breathe their final breath. And if what that man did in his life makes the blood pulse through the body of others, it makes them bleed deeper in something than larger than life, then his essence, his spirit, will be immortalized.
You think you know me?
Entering the ring like a heavyweight champion, legendary king like my name is Fred Hampton. Vision of a sniper, Dino in my fibers. I can see the truth, no Rowdy Piper. Black brown messiah, one-on-one with the colonizer. Ropes on fire, tombstone power driver. Disciples assemble in Mayan symbols deciphered. Sacred prayers delivered, fulfill fate's desires. As the crowd gets louder, feels wild nostalgic. Lift 'em up, gorilla press, fearless as a falcon. Catch the BX live on BBC. That's when I hit 3DTs with DDTs. El Patron without Patron. For sovereignty, we work hustles and cross the border like take on the turnbuckle. Hit 'em with a spear, then a chair, let 'em chair. Administer my finisher, the signature, and it's severe.
Yeah. Check it.
You think you know me?
Abysmal with a pistol, execute corporates in front they poverty. I mean, lyrically, I'm twisted, sea demon, heretic, embellishing the savagery repeatedly. Stab a chest cavity, I run with the spirits, they burn at the stake. Curse you until death, like Hod's way. We build raw, ambush, mercenary convoys. Fallujah, all forward, I'm on, boy. Fuck Judge Dredd, leave a judge dead. Break down gates of heaven, leave them all red. Yes, the rhythm, the rebel. B-boy, changing levels, shooting for a double. Like a barrel, leave them riddled, let the rodents fiddle. In your vicinity, public enemies smashing. Burn it all down, see what grows from the ashes.
Native threat, KF. Hell yeah, they don't know what time it is. Yeah, get this shit.
You think you know
The
me?
first infinite earth resistance grew out the 818 with persistence. Grew to the hate they throw with my mission. Born to flip what they did with theirs. I'm only mad cause I care. I'm only mad cause I know what's out there. And it ain't fair. They grab a mask and a spear. I'm unattached to the fear. Fuck I look like sipping on a colonizer beer. Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's. Talking about a virus, y'all act like you got closed eyelids. And what I find is, they don't know what the time is. I'm an ancestor, I am timeless. I look within and the answers I find them. I'm not lost, I know the cost. Robbery is on to me. I'm Undertaker, choke slam the boss. Leave you hung in the ring, I don't give a fuck. And that's what's up, to the day I'm done. Cause no one
can escape death. Death's got these focus all around us, and the ancestors are with us. So Hawan, put your feathers on and let them know what's
You think you know
This
me.
is Danza Azteca ceremony on a campus by the marigold flowers is where we lead the dances. I'm at war with Anglo-Saxons and our weapons have landed. Pre-Hispanic savage and them Yankees in the ashes. It's revenge for the sanctions that they put on Venezuela. En el Tahuantín suyo, el cóndor vuela. Plumas tied to the blower from a scarlet ibis. My medicine bag carries dreams inside it. Flower making preparation for the day of the dead. The reputation of my nation's what I swore to defend. The promise of death is what the mask represents. The liquor isn't needed to put me at ease. You can't wear my mascara, it belongs to a king. Yo, I was taught to love the US, I was raised a little different. I was taught to keep them fucking colonizers to a distance. Them gringo spies wanna know who sent us. You'll have to take my life before you take my feathers.
I'm out on bail, the sheriffs try to unmask me. Sister in arms, Frosty, talk to him, hermana.
You think you
Ain't
know
got
me.
no papers for you to funnel me into your system. Assimilate my soul to psychological prison. Fuck your religion and all the blood on its hands. Your secret cemeteries where the spirits still dance. They offered money for our heads, put targets on our backs. So we lived in the shadows, whispering plans of attack. We withdraw, you react. A gabacho gets slapped. Step back, motherfucker, you don't know me like that. This is my form of decrement of broken social agreements. You baby bloodsucking leeches, pervert political leaders, sinning as hard as the preachers. Only God can judge how your heart full of hate, but your mouth speaking love. I don't need to go to heaven, see I'm calling all your bluff. Maybe we can stop pretending, see my people had enough. Yes, all one love, but you still gotta duck. Better watch the way you move before they get you with the
Yeah, that's right. Women are freedom fighters too. Navy Jones, you know what the fuck to do.
You think you know me.
Ooh, it's Mr. Diamond Moolah with the dirty ruga. Yo soy boricua, still a nigga with a sick medulla. My skin's a sin, the jinx be trying to genocide. A real nigga, and I say that with pride. This is it, boy. The new age revolution fighters get a grip, boy. Shooting in and out the gym, the clips don't miss, boy. I'm moving stealth like a real shooter. Might drop a bomb on a border wall abuser. Unify the people was Pride and Fred Hampton. Climbing up a ladder, took an axe to my stanchion. Didn't know that I would bounce back deadly fashion. Mask on stash it, pistol blast and passion. If you could be anything that you put your mind to, but mind you, since the bow had a mouth full of swan dude. Jaganator coming through like Macho Man and UT. With a Booker T, you cross us wrong, you go 6 feet.
Oh shit, is that Rex? Okay, let's go. Yeah, Rex, check these motherfuckers out here.
You think you know me.
Don't bother Rex, rip your heart from your chest. You want pain? Well then I leave my name carved in your flesh. They say sleep is the father of death. Why would you bother the best? I keep a bag of tools, carpenter vet. I clothesline, so I just slaughter the rest. Dinos and Aztecs, blast text if I send out this mass text. I fight sobriety, mass stress. I'm trying to move the culture forward. Conscious aura, death to who came before us. In blood I paint the forest, then cover my face, absorb it. Feel the torment of my bloodline. Sacrificed, I'm a martyr, free Palestine. And if the media too promotes slander, that's what the media do. Instead of exposing the truth, we get shot and killed, controlled like a zoo. But let nationalists march the capital, holding the noose. I lace my boots and prepare for the rivalry. The spirits inside of me, guiding me. Man, they gotta be the God in me.
Hey yo, Jag, Dre, I see the play. Building an army of indigenous snipers. Salute to the comrades. Eyes on Molly, talk to them.
You think you know me.
Phonetic aggression, poetic aggression. My sharpened bone helped me pass through the metal detector. When I die, I hope the flowers in the ghettos connect us. You'll be lost in the puddle of ancestral nectar. Listen, the mangoes grow in the ground that I walk on. My battle scars now have became my sakya. Carrying my lyrics like I turned to an Oscar. You can meet me somewhere in the middle of Aslan. The Molotov cocktail, we're hating the cop car. Whether you're screaming Omidale or Allahu Akbar. When I'm coming to kill you, believe it or not spar. Whether you hit the right jab or down with the southpaw. Keep going, we live inside a world that's without stars. Clouds fall, the child's tears going all out war. Why you think I keep the mask inside of the house for? What you know about less in the day in the outdoors? Pulling with the mask and I feel like I'm Jack War.
Manifest destiny. I'm your enemy, your natural enemy. Manifest destiny. We are your enemies, your natural enemies, your natural enemies, your natural enemies, your natural enemy.
Chicanos killing Chicanos is what they want. Blacks and Chicanos killing each other is what they want. That's how they run this place. Once we get together, they don't run shit. Got a lot to learn about being Chicano.
Yeah, Alcatraz, Midget Loco. Yeah. They never seen this coming, man. What up, Loom? What up, Oreo? 500 years of captivity. What else? Now they trying to tell us how we supposed to be, how we supposed to act, how we supposed to rap. How I'm brown but my flow too black. Come on, y'all kidding me, right? Nike Air Flights fitted cock back fresh. Representando mexicanos on the mat. No estoy jugando, got bars like I battle on smack. But hold on, I'ma bring it right back. My people indigenous. I'm not sure if you getting this. By the time I'm done, you gon' be feeling this. I come from the people they call Meshiacha. I've been to the motherland, Chichen Itza. Seen the Mayan ruins, intellectual architects. Been in the cenote, seen ancient artifacts. Really? Cali is Mexico, those are the facts. They raped women, gave elders heart attacks. It was a battle, our people were outgunned. Took life and cattle, we were outdone. However, 2 wars proudly we take to the grave. Those we call our Independence Day. It's time to stand up, educate our people. Stay on our ground, let them know that we equal. We see your plan, but your plan is see-through. You can't stop my people. Mexicano, I'm brown and proud. Mexicano, I'm brown and proud. Mexicano, I'm brown and proud. Mexicano, I'm holding it down.
It all started with Mexicano. Gave birth to the word that we know as Chicanos. Aztec warrior, man, it's all in my blood. From the North State line, that's the heart of the love. Now I'm Mexico City, that's a modern day name. Don't let the books confuse you to be a modern day slave. Gotta get your facts right and study the culture. Don't be like Cortez, he came like a vulture. Came to just steal and take away the land. He seen what we got and he was like, damn, who would've guessed it had to be a white man. Damn again, now we got stolen lands. They say go back to where the fuck you from. Man, this is my land, that's what you stole from us. I'm not Hispanic or Latino, I'm a Mexican. Man, fuck La Milicia, you can have that bitch.
It's time to stand up, educate our people. Stay on our ground, let them know that we equal. We see your plan, but your plan is see-through. You can't stop my people. Mexicano, I'm brown and proud. Mexicano, I'm brown and proud. Mexicano, I'm brown and proud. Mexicano, I'm holding it down.
Viene a decirnos con mucha firmeza y gran convencimiento lo mismo que nos decía en el siglo XVIII el barón de Holbach, ¿no? Un filósofo francés de origen alemán. Si nos remontamos al comienzo, entonces hallaremos que la ignorancia y el temor crearon a los dioses. La fantasía, el entusiasmo o el engaño los adornaron o desfiguraron. La debilidad les rinde culto, la credulidad los conserva, la costumbre los respeta y la tiranía los apoya para que la ceguera de los hombres sirva a sus propios intereses.
Yeah, nope, that's real. The other one was a test. That one was real. Yeah. What up, fam? Hope y'all doing good this afternoon or this evening. For you guys that are new, welcome to the channel, Meshiacha Chronicles, known as Bible Chronicles, which is why you probably hear that this part. Copyright disclaimer. It says Bible Chronicles. I changed the name. Anyhow, we're in the 3rd year now. Shit, man. Right? This is the month where I started the channel, man. That's pretty crazy. Yeah, back in 2022.
but I came to this understanding roughly officially 2018, but the roots started growing like 2016. Anyhow, what up, Kuya? Good to have you, bro. I was gonna do the live yesterday, and I told you too, and I couldn't, man. I got sick. Well, whatever this is, I guess it's sick. So I think I'm a little better. I think I'm doing better. What up, Grizz? What up? What up, dog? What up? What up? What up? What up? What up? The ladder, bro. Good to have you here, bro. What's up, brother Joe? Yeah. All will be revealed. Hope everybody's doing okay. Let me see. Block out the wobbles. He said, let's block out the wobbles. Nah, sometimes it's good to have that shit. It helps the algorithm. You know what I'm saying? What's up, Lameshi? VTC, bro. Man, I keep forgetting to call you, man. My bad, bro. I will definitely call you. Anyone else I didn't call? I don't see anybody else that I missed. So, okay. The question is this. All right, here we go. I'm really excited about this class because it's, taking a break has allowed me to reflect. I don't know, like reflect. Oh my God, like, you know what I'm saying? No depression, no shit like that. No, it's, all praises to the Most High, man. That things have been much better. Thank you. You know what I mean? With prayers from you brothers, man, and you sisters too. Thank you very much. Anyhow, I took break because I had to, make some adjustments, moves, close office down, whatever, all this and that. So it gave me time, and I started going back to the basics, man. So today we're gonna go basically back to the basics. I was thinking about that. It's been a while because I was showing a lot of videos in my previous classes. Today we're gonna do a lot of reading, and the question is, wait a minute, like this right here.
Bruh. Wait a minute. Who are you?
That's the question right there. Who are we? Who are we? Lots of people claim that they know who they are. Matter of fact, lots of nations know who they are. If you guys really think about that. White folks, black folks, Arabs, Asians, all of them know their forefathers for the most part. We don't know. You know what I'm saying? You guys gotta wonder that. Now, I will say this, that what happens throughout this walk, whether you believe it or not, wisdom does grow and it takes time. Sirach 125, the parables of knowledge are in the treasures of wisdom. So you won't understand the parables that the scriptures or this book talks about if you don't have knowledge, first of all, which in order for you to even become wise in that sense, you first have to go through those processes. But godly is an abomination to sinner. The important part right now is the first sentence. The parables of knowledge are in the treasures of wisdom. Now, how does one gain wisdom? If thou desirest wisdom, verse 26, keep the commandments, and the Lord shall give her unto thee. Now, here it's a simple instruction. For the sake of time, let me continue reading it. For the fear of the Lord is wisdom and instruction. You see what I'm saying? So in order for you to get instructions, to understand what the hell is going on in our society right now, or even when you finally come to that important question, I don't know, some of us have had that question at 6 years old, 7 years old, 9 years old, 12 years old. I had it very young. My daughter specifically had it very young. The question was, why the hell are we here? That was the main question for most of my life, my childhood. Not really all the time, but it's like, why the fuck are we here? That was the point. I saw a lot of shit. I saw a lot of bad shit. At 4 years old, 5 years old, I saw people get shot, like literally, like like they're covering them up with plastic. You could see through plastic, but you see the blood all over the place. Now, it's not necessarily like, oh, this is so weird from everyone else what they've gone through. No, but the fact is that it has to make sense. Eventually, shit is just like bitter, bro. Like fucking life becomes bitter. Like you don't want to do this no more. Thank the Lord that He allowed me to get knowledge, to gain wisdom, to gain knowledge, or I should say, to follow instruction, gain knowledge, and then grow wisdom to see the parables. And this is all has to do with pretty much how you really feel about this. I don't know, man. Faith that what you're trying to do correct in your life is going to pay off. I mean, obviously, hello, what the hell are we sincerely doing this for? I don't want to sin. I don't want to intend to sin. I'm not trying to not sin because I want some treasures. No, it's just that, it feels good to avoid what that fear is. And what the fuck what if that shit is really real? And if I do fucking bad, like, I'm done. You know what I mean? I don't want that. Anyways, without wasting more time, because I can't do that. Let me go to Isaiah 33 real quick, because I did have the reason for that. My bad, family. Sometimes I'll do that. I'll get into a little conversation here. Isaiah 33:6 says, "In wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times." You see what I'm saying? So when you have this understanding, or at least this type of view as to what's going on currently and in the past, or at least with the information that's being provided to us, how do we deal with it, right? And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times and strength of salvation, because there's a lot going on right now, man. A lot of shit's going on. Some of us probably do listen to politics more than they should, but it is what it is. So check this out. That was just one thing I wanted to share with you. So let's start and begin here real quick, okay? So the question is now, how or who are we? And how do we find out who we are? Here we got ourselves a book here. I think I've showed this to you guys before. Se llama este libro El Pueblo Hebreo por Julio. Sorry, let me see if you guys can see that. Yeah, you guys can. El Pueblo Hebreo por Julia Rosa Delany. Okay. Written in 1908 from the library of Luis Alberto Sanchez, the Pennsylvania State University Libraries. Okay. So you guys can actually see the actual source. And 1908 reprint. This is a PDF, obviously. But I want to focus on some of these words here real quick. Look at this. Quechuas. Del origen de los indios. Okay? I want to focus on this word right now so we can get through this material. Now, you guys are obviously... This is not a difficult book to find on PDF. I would suggest to, take care of it. Look, 44 pages. It's not long. All right? You guys can read that shit. But I'm going to get to the points here. So what is it saying about these Hebreos? Okay, so let's go back. The book is called, my bad, where are you? El Pueblo Hebreo. Okay, now, then it says here, Inserciones, Bibliografía y Crítica Histórica. El oidor Don Diego Andrés Rocha y su Tratado Único del Origen de los Indios. Okay, now, here we start seeing this word often, Quechuas. So let's dig through it. All right, let's go. Oh no, matter of fact, I missed it. It's because I was over there. So let's read at this point, and let's see what we get. All right, page 14. It's in Spanish, so you guys know this is a bilingüe channel. It says, pero si estas filiaciones son ingeniosas, no solo son menos las que corresponden a las lenguas quechua y aymara, que proceden del hebreo y del caldeo. Now, some of you guys may not know this, but Quechua is a language in the lands of Peru. So let me continue. Así resulta, al menos en muchos vocablos que tienen idénticas o análogas significaciones, pero por no fatigar al lector me limitaré a pocos ejemplos. So here he's giving some examples as to why he's making a statement. And by the way, family, forgive me, I am still a little sick. My nose is stuffy, you know what I'm saying? So I'm going to battle through this. So forgive me. My mind's still a little cloudy, but hey, I'm going to do my best. Let's say it. It says here, los vocables México, Perú, cacique, sinato, canoa, macana, ana y racha vienen de los hebreos masi, para. You see this? So these words, Mexico, Perú, cacique, sinato, canoa, Macana, Ana y Rasha, o Racha, dice, vienen de los hebreos. Acautín, Sinail, Canón, Macha, Ana y Racha. Tupac viene de Topa o Tobi, familia de Israel. Y a los lectores que observan que uno es Tupac y el otro es Toby, contesta el autor que mudarse la O en un fue muy fácil. Now, I'm going to share this with you guys. Why is this even important? Why does it even matter? You know what I mean? It's like when we show this material, or whatever other brother or sister shows this material, there's going to be out there people that ain't going to believe. Okay, fine, whatever. It doesn't matter. But you can't ignore so much written about the connections and similarities. And literally, like the books that are out there. You can't freaking deny this shit. Come on, man. Let's stop being stupid. We are willing to embrace conspiracy theories that are far fucking out there. Like a lot of you guys believe in aliens before you believe in this shit. Mi primera tarea consistió en conocer la mejor que fue posible los elementos y el conjunto de la cultura de Tahuantinsuyo, dando preferente atención a las lenguas quechua y aymara y sus dialectos conocidos. Page 21. So check this out. Let me see if I can get to this particular part. Here it goes right here. El primer ejemplo examinado detenidamente en vista de los trabajos de los egiptólogos modernos y comparado punto por punto con el imperio incaico, resultó muy semejante a este y que los rasgos comunes existen. You see what it's saying? So modern Egyptologists, comparing this particular things that they found here, this word, to be sincere, I don't know what that means. Let's look it up. Incaico? Inca, okay. Okay. So Egyptologists and people from the Incas, like, I guess I don't know. That's the word they used to give that understanding. Resultó muy semejante a este y que los rasgos comunes existen, tanto en idioma como en religión y costumbre, podían muy bien explicarse ya por un contacto directo de los quechuas, aymaras y egipcios. So the typical individual is just going to basically say, yeah, whatever, that's all BS. That's so-called whatever. Fine, so be it. But you want to know something? Since, like I said earlier, when we woke up to the question that I think all of us have had since we were kids, me personally, and my daughter, because I can only tell you that from that experience, is she was 4 years old, and she said, Dad, why are we here? What's the point? What's the point, Dad? Why are we here? Man, that's like, not even adults ask themselves those questions, which we should, for the most part. But here we're seeing that there is similarities. So let's continue. It says, durante un tiempo más o menos largo en algún punto del Asia, o ya por una relación del origen de los súbditos de Faraón con algún otro pueblo de ese continente de donde procedieron quechuas y aymaras. You see this right here? Now, before I move on from this word, quechua or aymara, I want to show this to you. I think I still have the picture. I think I still do. Hold on. Look, is that it? No, it's Ayaman. No, I think I got it wrong. Anyways, let's continue. I thought it was the same word, but it's not. Anyways, so let me move on to the next word. Okay, so now we see Quechua, Aymara. Now check this out. All right, in the same book. Right? Let me spell it out. Caldeo, way. Caldeo. Okay, so it brings us back. I thought I could find more. Caldea or Caldeo? Huh. That's weird. Okay. That's all good. So now we go through this book again. Same book. Again, I welcome you guys to download and get it PDF, El Pueblo Hebreo, por Julia Rosa Delani. Okay? So let's go through the words. It says here, page 8. La otra observación es asunto de la conciencia. Advierte el doctor Rocha que los hebreos establecidos en la América del Sur y México, o sea, nuestros indios, no están manchados con el crimen de Calvario por no haber concurrido a él, puesto que vinieron 1000 y tantos años antes del nacimiento de Salvador, meaning the Messiah, 1500 years before him, correct. The actual expulsion of the 10 tribes was around 500 BC, 535, 38 BC. Prior to, that's when they left officially. So if you think about that, that's 500 years, not 1500 years. So, but anyways, let's conclude. That's not the point. It's that same page. See, once again, it's talking about que las lenguas Quechua y Aymara proceden del hebreo. Now, where this, before I go, Quechua language. Quechua language, sometimes written in Quichua or Quechua, is language spoken by 8 million people in South American nations, Peru, Bolivia, Ecuador, Argentina, and Colombia. Okay? I'm only reading material. That's all I'm doing. I'm not making shit up. I'm literally reading and showing you guys what I'm finding. Okay? And hopefully that can give you some reasoning, maybe get you to see the parables of the scriptures, and then maybe the knowledge will start to really seed and root, because once you start seeing the book for what it is and the history, it helps a lot. Check this out. It says, de suerte que el sistema que emplea el oidor Rocha para establecer parentesco entre hebreos y americanos es idéntico al que usa para probar el origen español de los indios. Check this out. Page 11. Después de hacer varios estudios, ha cruzado por mi mente la sospecha de que si acaso no será la raza indígena, el pueblo hebreo que Dios se reservó para sus fines providenciales. Desde entonces el indio se ha convertido para mí en tema de paciente y minuciosa investigación. Now, I think I did write that book down, didn't I? Give me a second, family. Let's see. Is it this one? Give me a second. Hold on. Make sure that I get the right one. Oh, no. This is not it. But here's what I'm going to do. I think this is going to really help you understand where this is going to go. So anyhow, you see the actual Hebreo, the similarities. This is what we're talking about. Again, el pueblo hebreo de origen asiática. So if you guys don't know that, it's a Afro-Asiatic language, Hebrew, right? We understand that. Now, check this out real quick. So once again, we have here. Let me get the book for you guys. El pueblo hebreo. Okay. Now, I want to show you something. I think I missed it. I might have missed it. Did I miss it? I was looking for it. They had mentioned this name. Give me a second, family, because I thought I put my notes properly. I wanted to show you something that I noticed from this brother. I was in a hurry. I didn't write it down that properly, maybe. Let me see the name. Okay, I think it's here. Here it goes, right here. Okay, so check this out. As I was reading this book, right? Interesting part on page 9. It says, estas versiones tuvieron defensores convencidos en el Congreso de Americanistas, reunido en México. So this right here obviously caught my attention and the brother's attention that showed this before. Now, interestingly enough, check this out. Let me see if I can get this for us. Let's see, is it right here? Yes, it's right here. So let me open it over here. Page 280. Check this out. It references it. Check this out. Okay. This is on page 280. Oh, sorry, my bad. Of the book called Rude of Me, huh? Here it goes, right here. Reunión, onceava reunión del Congreso Internacional de los Americanistas. That's the first part. Congreso Internacional de Americanistas, actas de la 11ª reunión. México, 1895. Imprimado, me imagino, en 1897. Ok. So vamos a ir a página 280. Oh, my bad. Went too far. There it goes, right here, coming up. It says here. Okay, let's read it. It says, grande ha sido la variedad entre muchos y diversos escritores sobre el origen de los americanos. Y bueno, it's talking about indigenous, all right? Be mindful of that. O primeros pobladores del nuevo orbe e Indias occidentales. You know, we just basically confirmed it. Unos dijeron X, antes se usaba con J, so dijeron, como México, right? So unos, and the V is you. So unos dijeron que procedían de los cartagineses, otros de los fenicios o chenahuancos, otros de los indios o chinos, otros de los noriagos, otros de las islas atlánticas, otros de los tartarios y aún otros de los 10 tribus. No hallando yo cosa más verosímil ni consentánea en la razón que la de muestra Montesino. La supongo como a la más probable. So he's basically saying that Montesino is what he believes is the most conclusive as to where our indigenous people come from. Okay? So it says, no hallando yo cosas más verosímil, ni consentanea la razón que la de nuestro Montesino. La supongo como la más probable, mostrando que los primeros pobladores de la América fueron parte de los 10 tribus y que después de la Tartaria, en que más me afirmo, les siguieron y hicieron guerra, con que de nuevo se volvieron y ocultar detrás de las cordilleras, meaning mountains, las cordilleras. Pruebo que los 10 tribus no volvieron al segundo templo. So here he's agreeing that Montesino is basically correct. Out of all the people here that want to claim that we're Africans or Canaanites or, you know, Tartarians or Mongolians or white folks, you know what I'm saying? All of that bullshit. Here he's confirming. All right? So let that voice be heard. Check this out. Got another one for you. Here we have a book called, let me go show you real quick, Noticias Americanas. Okay? You guys want to take a picture of that real quick? Noticias Americanas, entretenimiento físico histórico sobre el América. Disculpen, sobre la América Meridional y la septentrional oriental. We're going to go back to English pretty soon, fam. Don't worry about it, all right? Let me just get through this. So now let's go to, let me see if I need to, yeah, let's go. I'm going to go to page, just real quick. Thank you, brother, for providing this info. Appreciate you very much. Page 323. Okay. Check this out. Look what it says. It says, sobre el idioma de los indios y juicio del modo en que es regular que se poblasen las Indias. Es opinión, listen to this, okay? Pay attention. Es opinión muy válida entre las personas eruditas que poseen con perfección la lengua quechua, traer esta algún origen de la hebrea. You see what it says? Es opinión muy válida, meaning it's of a high opinion between people here that the Quechua language has a perfect origin to the Hebrew language, con la cual le hallan mucha semejanza, porque aquellas palabras que en la Sagrada Escritura se conservan de este, y siendo en la pronunciación y en el sonido iguales, no dejan de ser bastantes las que se notan con esta íntima semejanza, de suerte que juzgándolo por este principio no admite duda, guardar entre sí muchas consonancia, disculpen. Resta saber si el significado que tiene en el hebreo, en la hebrea, es con precisión el mismo que en la otra, porque las palabras de la Sagrada Escritura que se hallan en el quechua son por lo común aquellas en que los intérpretes no se han hallado conformes. Wow. So here you can see how the similarity in the language, it's so similar. Check this out. It says here, desde la infancia que la hablan y entienden en toda su fuerza, por serla natural como a los mismos indios, poseían el hebreo antiguo con la misma perfección. Bro, y'all got this is heavy fire right here. That the children, right? They were basically natural. Like, okay, I'll read up a little bit here. It says here. No siendo extraño que en solo unos se parecen sin su de ser lo mismo en el significado para poder determinar sobre ello con propiedad. Será preciso que los sujetos instruidos en la quechua desde la infancia que la hablan y entienden en toda su fuerza por serles natural como a los mismos indios, poseíense el hebreo antiguo con la misma perfección y entonces podrían hacer la comparación de una con otra y por la semejanza de algunas frases, de las expresiones y de los nombres de las cosas, vendrían en conocimiento de la igualdad que conversar entre sí, y tal vez no sería difícil darle la interpretación que si quiere a las que se mantienen en obscuridad en hebreo. Bro. Wow. That, man, that's I don't know what to say to that. You know, when I was first reading this, right, I thought to myself, I get that, you know, we read these books and you're like, well, you know, maybe it's a lie. Maybe it's a lie. You know what I'm saying? But you know, I've shared with you guys in this channel, and I've done some classes on our actual similarities in what we eat, that it's all over the Bible, right? So it's not just the material that we read, but it's also when you look through it and you're like, damn, dude. I mean, who else eats crickets, family? You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. Come on, stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
You.
Who naturally wears fringes? Come on, stop it. Stop it. Polyglot glamour. A polyglot glamour of the Hebrew, Chaldaic, Syriac, Greek, Latin, English, French, Italian, Spanish, and German. We're going to go to page, I believe, 203. Just kind of skimming through this real quick. No videos today, family. Just a few. That's it. Today is reading. Reading time. You know how we used to do it. Okay. If you guys are new to this channel, go back to my old ones because then you'll know what I'm talking about. Page 203. Okay. Right. Tacos de chapulines, así dice. Yep, that's right, bro. That's for sure. That's for sure. Check this out. Page 203. It says extract from the history of American Indians by James Adair. We if you guys know, if you guys have followed this, those books are available. It says here, the Indian language and dialects appear to have the very form and genius of Hebrew. Their words and sentences are expressive, concise, emphatical, and sonorous and bold, and often both in letters and in signification, synonymous with the Hebrew language. It is a common and old remark that there is no language in which some Hebrew words are not to be found. Probably Hebrew was the first and only language till distance of time and place introduced a change, and then soon followed a mixture of others. An accidental position of the characters might also coincide with some Hebrew words in various dialects without the least intention. As the true pronunciation of the Hebrew character is lost in a considerable degree, it is too difficult a task for a skillful Hebraist to ascertain a satisfactory identity of language between the Jews and American Aborigines, much more so to an Indian trader who remember this is like a quote unquote who professes but a small acquaintance with the Hebrew, and that acquired by his own application. However, I will endeavor to make up the deficiency of Hebrew by plenty of good, solid Indian roots. So again, here we see some people that agree to disagree, disagree to agree. But look, when you look at the true facts, when you start seeing the comparables in regarding the Quechua language, then you really see the difference. Now, I'm going to tell you something, family. Nobody in this time, up until 1520, was really, how can I say this, was really pronouncing the name of the Most High. Up until 1540, I believe, it was actually used once more. You got to think about that. Now, why am I sharing this material to you? Why is this important? It's extremely important because I'm going to express to you now why all of this matters. Show you something real quick. The idea, or a lot of us,
Who's coming in the driveway?
several of us came out of the 12 tribe chart concept. Okay. A lot of us came from the 12 tribe chart concept. A lot of us, really believe what they were saying. So their idea, let me show you something. Their idea is this. And silly as it may, some people that should have known better, they still push this for a little bit, and some of them do. So these BHIs claim that the 10 tribes were here and that they came, I guess, not here, but here, and that they took boats after the, like Second Ezra says, and they went all around Africa. And that supposedly with ships, families, kids, mothers, grandmas, parents, old, young, considering women on menstrual cycles, you know what I'm saying? Women that are pregnant. What about cattle? What about gold? What about all that stuff? Okay, well, that's what they say, that, that 10 tribes went around Africa, and that's how they ended up here. That's their teachings. That's their doctrine. That's what they believe. I was the first and only one to show that we did not go that route. I was the very first one to go against that, and I'm going to show you why. Because it's not a difficult thing to understand. I'm going to show you how it's not difficult to understand if you understand history, or at least just kind of think bigger than the USA. Because a lot of people are confused, that they think America is the world, and nothing else matters. No, a lot of different shit matters, like other history. So I said, by the way, this is a map from 1587, okay? David Rumsey's map collection. What I did is I showed and proved that we went from here to here. And then the travel of 1 year and a half all the way down. Okay? Now, people can claim that the 10 tribes went that way, but that's easy. That's easy. You want to know why that's easy? Because you can't prove it. There's no map. There's no history. No relativity between the people that were on these ships to the people here. No, they said that the 10 tribes, by the way, they were all mostly African American looking, because that's what they teach basically too. Don't forget that either. You guys really need to know the doctrine. They said that they went all around this way. You know what I mean? So I disagree, 100% disagree, because we have proof, similarities, statements, historical recorded conversations about the similarities between people. Some deny who we are, but yet put us right smack bottom in the middle of all of it. Okay? So now, why do I believe we went that way? Okay, you got to remember that in 535 BC, there was rulership in kingdoms. And I'm going to show you that the rulership in kingdom that was here, okay, there was no way that the 10 tribes would have gone that way. No way. Because some people believe that. Also, some people believe, like, you know what I mean? Some people believe that they did go into Africa. Some people believe that. Some people believe that they went all the way to north, to Europe. Seriously. But the majority of proof and the majority of the books written about who they may be or where they may be all lead to this here, to this land here. The majority of the material books and findings all end up here, all over. So before we go any further, let me show you why. It's important to know your history. Let's listen to this real quick.
The ancient Egyptians built one of the greatest empires in history, and despite facing many difficulties, managed to maintain their sovereignty over almost the entire Nile River Valley. But Africa has always been a gigantic continent, inhabited by many different peoples. Some wanted to conquer the fertile lands of Egypt. Kingdoms and tribes with origins in Libya, Syria, and Turkey were constantly fighting against Egypt. But there were a people whose tenacity and courage frightened even the powerful Egyptians. The Nubians were an African people who lived in the Nubia region, in today's Sudan. The Nubian people have been living in that region for a long time. By 3100 BC, there would be Nubian villages along the River Nile. During much of their history, the Nubians did not develop any writing. Much of what we know about them is in the records left by the Egyptians. The Nubia was a region rich in gold veins, semi-precious stones, ebony wood, incense, and ivory. This wide range of resources encouraged the Egyptians to invade that region in search of extremely useful raw materials. The Nubians resisted the Egyptian invasions as much as possible, but they were militarily inferior and were progressively pushed south. Due to the various periods of instability in Egypt, the Nubians were able to organize more effective defenses. During periods of peace, Nubians and Egyptians traded and shared different forms of knowledge. During the reign of Pharaoh Thutmose I, the Nubians were part of the Egyptian Empire, but that dominion quickly collapsed, and the Nubians established a unified kingdom, with Napata as its capital. The Nubians thus founded the Kingdom of Kush, which would become a respected African power. The term Kushite Kingdom comes from the Egyptians, who called the Nubian Kush. The founder of this new kingdom was a tribal leader named Alara, who became king of all the Nubians. With the Kushite kingdom established, the next step was to ensure its defense and economy. For this, Alara's successors reigned successfully, strengthening the kingdom and expanding their domains.
All right, so now that we get an idea of what was going on between certain nations, okay? See, Egypt, Kingdom of Kush, Ethiopia. Now, why is this important? Because you have to understand that this relationship or so-called fight that they had was around 600 BC. Egypt in the late period, okay? You see the actual Seti period of dynasty. Now, you guys can look through these links here. Metmuseum.org. Okay, metmuseum.org right there. And you can find out that at that time there was war between Egyptians and Kushites. Around 530 so BC. Okay. 400 BC to 520 so BC is when you start seeing Persian dynasty starting to become. Right? Check this out here real quick. I think around the same time, yeah, Babylon falls to Media Persia. Okay. Now keep this in mind here. Let me show you something. Let's see if it's here. Is this it? No, this is not it. My bad. This is not it. Oh, here it goes right here. My bad. So here's a kingdom, Cyrus. Okay. This was the kingdom of Cyrus when he freed the Israelites, the 10 tribes, when they were allowed to move and go. Okay. You have to know that that's what was going on at that time. That was the actual land that the Israelites dwelt in. Okay. Now, in case you guys don't know, and I hope you do, but for the sake of at least touching on that subject, this is who King Cyrus was. This is from a book called Conscious Dictionary of Ancient History. Cyrus the Elder, surnamed the great king of Persia and founder of the Persian Empire, according to his own statement in the inscription on the cylinders discovered in the ruins of Babylon, he was a son of Cambyses, the son of Cyrus, the son of Typus, and the son of Echemenus, I guess. Cyrus overthrew Astyages, blah, 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 blah. Let me see what the point here is. Let's see. Hold on. Where were we trying to? Okay, here goes. Cyrus overthrew Croesus in 546 BC, making himself master to the coast of Asia Minor. Babylon fell to him in 539 BC without a blow. That's when the 10 tribes were free. He was killed in 529 BC, 10 years later, while fighting nomads. By that time, the 10 tribes had departed. So right here, when Cyrus, like, for example, took over, okay? This is where you find Second Kings. For you guys that are seriously trying to read the book and you don't know where to go or where to start or how history run, write this shit down. Not I mean shit, the verses, but write the stuff down. It's important. 2 Kings 17:5. Look what it says here. This is right at that time when Cyrus took over. Babylonia was the one that had the Israelites in captivity. Remember that. Keep that in mind. That says, then said Cyrus, I'm sorry, where was verse? We'll go 5. Yes. Then the king of Assyria came up throughout all the land and went up to Samaria and besieged it 3 years. You see this? In the 9th year of Hosea, the king of Assyria took Samaria and carried Israel away into Syria and placed them in the Halah and in the harbor by the river of Gazan and in the cities of Medes. Check this out. Verse 7. For so it was that the children of Israel had sinned against the Lord, their God, which had brought them up out of the land of Egypt, from under the hand of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and had feared other gods. You see this? This is why they were sent out. Now check this out. Write this down. 2 Chronicles, chapter 36, 22 and 23. To help us understand more. Proclamation of Cyrus. This is what we just read. Okay? In between 539 BC and 529 BC, around 535 BC, 538 is when you start seeing the official 10 tribes of Israel starting to depart. Okay? Around that time. And why did they do that? Why were they allowed to? Because they were under captivity with Babylon. You can see it, Assyria, correct? Now, it says here on 2 Chronicles 36:22. Now, in the first year of King Cyrus of Persia, 1539, that the word of the Lord spoke by the mouth of Jeremiah might be accomplished, that the Lord stirred up the spirit of King Cyrus, king of Persia, that he made a proclamation throughout all his kingdom. Throughout all his kingdom. See? Right here. Throughout all his kingdom. Because that's what he owned. That's what he ran. That's what he handled. Right? He wasn't proclaiming all lands that he didn't conquer. No, that's not what he did. Then it says here that he made a proclamation throughout all his kingdom and put it also in writing, saying, Thus saith Cyrus, king of Persia, all the kingdoms of the earth had the Lord God of heaven given me, and he had charged me to build him a house in Jerusalem, which is in Judah, who is there among you of all his people. The Lord his God be with him and let him go up. So now he's telling them they're free to go. They're free to go. Okay. So now let me show you something real quick so you don't get lost in the sauce. Here in Ezra, which is the following book, first chapter, it's giving us a little bit more clarity. Okay. He just said it in general in Chronicles. It's generalized. Now it's a little more detailed. Ezra 1:1. Now in the first year of Cyrus, king of Persia, that the word of the Lord by the mouth of Jeremiah might be fulfilled, the Lord stirred up the spirit of Cyrus, king of Persia, that he made a proclamation throughout all his kingdom, and put it also in writing, and saying, Thus saith King Cyrus of Persia, the Lord of God of heaven had given me all the kingdoms of the earth, and he had charged me to build him a house in Jerusalem, which is in Judah. Who is there among you? You see this on the previous one, just for the sake of you understanding what we're missing here. The previous one, he didn't say that. Okay. The following one, in verse 3, is when he concludes. Who is there among you of all his people? Here, right? His God be with him, and let him go up to Jerusalem, which is in Judah, and build a house of the Lord of Israel, God of Israel, and he is the God which is in Jerusalem. And whosoever remaineth in any place where he sojourn, let the man be of his place, help him with silver, and with gold, and with goods, and with beast, besides the free will offering for the house of God that is in Jerusalem. You see this here? Here, all the tribes were free now, including the 10 tribes that were carried away out of Samaria and thrown all over the cities, all across the kingdom of Persia. For the most part, the kingdom of Persia expanded more than the Assyrian kingdom, but you can get a gist of what I'm talking about. Then we see here that Judah and Benjamin rose up. Priests and Levites came with them, right? Let me read it. Then rose up the chief of the fathers of Judah and Benjamin, and the priests and the Levites, and with all them whose spirit God had raised up to go up to build a house of the Lord, which is in Jerusalem. And all they that were about them strengthened their hands with vessels of silver and with gold and with goods and with beasts and with the precious things, besides all that was willingly offered. Now, as you can see, that it was just Judah and Benjamin and Levi, right? What are the 10 tribes? What are the 10 tribes? That's the question. Okay, this is where you have to now conclude that the Apocrypha is important. Because here in the Apocrypha is where it gives us that answer. 2nd Ezra 13:40. Those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea king, whom Salmanasseh the king of Assyria led away captive. That's 2 Kings chapter 17. He carried them over the waters, and so they came unto another land. Okay? But they took this counsel among themselves that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt. That's 2 Chronicles 36 with Ezra's chapter 1. That's that right there in between. You see what I'm saying? Timeline. That they might keep their statues, which they never kept in their own land. And they entered into Euphrates by the narrow places of the river. For the Most High then showed them signs for them, and held still the flood till they were passed over. For through that country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half. And the same region is called Arsareth. Now, some people want to claim Arsareth is in Africa, and I beg to differ. You want to know why? Because how convenient that in some cases they want to use Plato's information, Aristotle's information. For God's sakes, they even want to use Diodorus Siculus' information. People that are born in 16 BC, 300 BC, 400 BC, that supposedly there was some land that Carthaginians knew about. All of a sudden now, yeah, they're that they don't like. Are we ignoring this information? Because from what we understand, the Carthaginians were actually, shipping merchandise. The Phoenicians. I mean, are we forgetting Solomon's time? Tyre, Zidon? Are we forgetting who the actual navigators were of that time? You telling me they never went around Africa? Come on now, man. No, that's not the case. Now, here's this map that I'm trying to show you. Okay. Kingdom. Now, you see all this vast land? I find it so funny, man, because everybody wants to, claim that this is a map from 1587. And then that map has this word called Arsareth. And Arsareth is there. Why do we want to ignore what is right in front of us? Let me see if I have that info. Why? Why do we want to ignore what's right in front of us? This is from a book, Relatinio. Well, it's Italian. I think it is. I think it has to be from 1599. Okay, 1599. What's that word you guys see there? Arsareth. Now I know some of you guys are probably going, I can't see that. Well, check it out. You know what's so even more interesting about that? You see that word right there? It says Chicana. Somebody explain to me. Chicana. Right? Anyways, the point is Arsareth, right? Do you guys not see it? Let me get a close up. This is from The Orbis Terranum Income, whatever. Let me see if I can get a close up here. Boom, 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 boom. There it goes. Look at that. Arsareth. Let me see a better one. I think this is a colored one, yep. Oh, my bad. Let's go back to that size. Look, better writing. Arcerus, deserto. And then here, you can see the word Chicana. In 1599, they knew that word, Chicana. Chicana, look at that. Tijuas, güey. Río Tijuas, cabrones. It's fire, baby. Look at that shit, man. I can't run from that. What the hell's wrong with you? Come on, bro. Stop lying to yourselves. If it's in your face, if it smells like a duck, quacks like a duck, it probably is it, man. You know what I'm saying? Arcerith. Chicana. Come on, family. Are we really gonna ignore each other like that? Chicana, the word right there. Look at that shit. Chicana. For you guys that have no idea what Chicano or Chicana, that shit is historical. Historical. You know what I'm saying, dog? Shit is historical. Can't deny those facts. Cannot deny those facts. You can run. You can, try to steal the info and shit. But you cannot deny facts. Excuse me. Let me show you something real quick. Let's see if I have it in here. I think I have it in here. Yeah, it is here. Let me see description. Check this out. This is from a book called Descriptions of the Indies 1620. Okay. And it says here on page 21, but it goes by, I guess, numbered sections. It says here, so the greater part of them kept traveling slow. Hold on a second. Let me go back. Maybe I should read it. Here it goes. Let's start here. For all their sins and idolatries, the people felt no regret, nor did they abandon them, till they were driven out of their country and scattered over the whole earth. Few having stayed behind, for although the priests and the Levites of the 10 tribes, and those who were good and faithful, went over to the tribe of Judah, which was the noblest and most faithful. The rest of the 10 tribes, which were wicked and idolatrous, were scattered and spread over all the countries of the earth. Now, check this out. And so the greater part of them kept traveling slowly across the Great Tartary and the other nations. Now, what does it mean by Great Tartary? It's talking about this right here. This vast land. Right here. Okay. So now, remember that Jerusalem, aquí estamos aquí. Arabia, right there. Arabia, there's Deserta Arabia. Then you got India right here. Then you got Asia, you know what I'm saying? All of that. Then you got Tartary. Matter of fact, it says Tartary here too. I think it says it right there. Tartaria, if I'm not mistaken. Is that Tarsier or something like that? Anyways, before I forget, let's continue. God allowing and ordaining it thus his own and righteous judgment in this extended journey of a year and a half, as stated by Ezra, until they arrived in Mongol. And from there they crossed the Strait of Anian. I just showed you. Now, the Straits of Anian is that barren strait section between Africa. What the hell am I talking about? Between Russia and Alaska. You see? Estrecho de Aniano. That's what it is. Estrecho de Aniano. That's what it is. Okay? The Straits of Anian. So it says here that until they arrived at Mongol, meaning here, so-called Mongol nation. It's offensive to me, but I'm using that terminology for now. Going up in that area, and then El Estrecho de Anian, which is basically the region of Arsareth, or Arsareth, and a region of Arsareth, and went on and colonized the country of New Spain, and beginning at the northmost part of it, until with their wars and their search for the land, they had colonized all of it. Check this out. Now, why do I agree with this, and why it's a conclusive? It's a strong fucking conclusive. Why? Because Ezra says that in the close of the extended journey, they colonized and lived in a region which is called Arsareth. That very learned Arthur Genebrard, in Book 1 of his chronology, states that Arsareth is the extreme point of Great Tartary and Scythia. That it is a cape of promontory, which is the boundary and landmark dividing the old world from the new. Above the Straits of Anian, and near which they crossed from that country to New Spain. So they could have gone by that route, or by India and China. You see what I'm saying? So we didn't go around Africa, first of all. There's no way that we could have done that. You know what I'm saying? Think about that for a moment, family. We're freed 1535 BC. We're freed, ready to go in the kingdom of Persia, which is basically this right here, okay? Now, we've been in slavery. 539 BC is when King Cyrus literally took over. Then he proclamated it. We had training to fucking ship ships? No, man. And you have women, children, elderly. Like, no, man, no, it's impossible. However, we can testify that we could have gone this route. You know why? Because we have a lot of similarities with the people here. Matter of fact, a lot of the food that these people eat here to this day, we eat the same fucking food that they eat. Some differences. And if you really think about it, all the people in this region, right? All of these people, they resemble all of these people for the most part, all across. Not just one particular so-called phenotype. That's why you can't get so stuck on that. Anyways, so here we see the Trechos de Anian, right? Okay. Now, why do I agree with this? It says here, so they could have gone by that route from Jerusalem, going west to east, and by India, and then going north up to China, since they're in the region of Cathay, the people inhabiting that country, hear this, keep the Old Testament and the law of Moses, although with many superstitions besides, meaning that there is a trace of their passage. There's a trace of their passages, right? But if you say that you went around Africa in a boat, you can't trace that shit. But we can trace it with history, similarities, customs. I'm going to show you something. This is full and sufficient proof that the members of the 10 tribes, listen to this. This is a full and sufficient proof that the members of the 10 tribes passed through there and settled there, since that is clear from their observation of the law, meaning here. And from there, they could easily cross the straits or channel, which lies between China and the kingdom of Anian, as may be seen in the globes or the maps. And from the kingdom of Anian, they went and exploring and colonizing those countries in the New World, never seen before, or never before seen, or settled by human beaners. Damn it. Now, let me show you an example why even those that wanted to claim that we were just heathen, right? Excuse me. Remember, the last book was called Description of the West Indies. My bad. This is the Jesuits and the Incas. Okay? Why am I showing you this? It's regarding this particular Padre Blas Valera. Padre Blas Valera. Why is it important to see what this guy says? Let me show you why. He writes about Peruvian history, the people that spoke Quechua. Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay. Now, it appears to have accounts of the early origin of the Native Americans, of the Peruvian dynasty before the Incas, and of the Inca rulers themselves. Throughout the remaining fragments of his work, it is material pertaining to the history of the Western Hemisphere prior to the time of the Incas. You see this? Right? It says here, although most of Valera's writings about the pre-Incas peoples have been lost, portions of his history of American migration and pre-Inca dynasty of Peru survived in his Relaciones de las Costumbres Antiguas. Write that information down. Get that book. As well as all his works of Garcilaso, Montesino, and Anello Oliva. Valera, listen, vehemently rejected, meaning he ferociously did like, hell no, these mofos are not. Rejected the notion that the American Indians were the descendants of the lost tribes of Israel, a common theory in the 16th century. Somebody explain that shit to me. Let me see what you guys got. Too much information stating we are the real people in the book. You damn freaking right. They've tried so hard to hide it from us. Like, look what we are now, but we will rise at the end. Yep, yes, sir, bro. Yes, sir. Oh, but that's not enough. Check this out. So this guy says that he rejected the notion, right? Common theory that everybody believed. Like, no, he's like, no, that's not true. Okay. Well, why did he say that? I'm going to show you why. The following page says, few sections that remain of Valera's work on this subject. He apparently speculated that the people of the Americas, listen, originated from the ancient Chaldeans. Who are the Chaldeans? Remember the word Hebreo? And I was looking for Caldeo. That was the word I was looking for. So he says that we're not Hebrews or Israelites or 10 tribes. He says, no, these guys are pagans because they are of Chaldean descent. Who once lived in the plains of Shinar in the Persian Gulf. Listen to this. The chronicler wrote that the religion of the natives, Greater Florida, and the Caribbean islands was derived from the practice of Chaldeans, who worshipped only natural features such as lakes, springs, and stars. Likewise, he claimed that the faith of the first Peruvians molded that on that of the Chaldeans. The Chaldeans, just listen to this, were renowned in biblical history for founding the city of Ur, from whence came Abraham, the father of the Hebrew nation. And they were believed to have descended directly from Noah. And they became famous as learned astrologers, priests, and magicians. By linking the ancient Peruvians to Chaldeans, Valera was placing the people of the New World into the framework of the biblical history. So now, with all that being said, let's read the biblical history. The biblical history. What do you mean by that? Let's read the biblical history. I'll show you something real quick. This here is the book of Judith. Holofernes, to summarize, is asking about the children of Israel because they want to prepare for war. They want to go to war. All right. So now it's explained who these people are. I'm going to use it as a third party. All right. So now these so-called people, he says, Judith 5:6, these people are descendants of the Chaldeans. We just read that. We just read Chaldeans. And they sojourned heretofore in Mesopotamia because they would not follow the gods of their fathers, which were in the lands of Chaldea, the Ur of Chaldee. For they left the way of their ancestors and worshipped the God of heaven, the God whom they knew. So they cast them out from the face of the gods, and they fled into Mesopotamia and sojourned there many days. Now, I want to say something to you. The God whom they knew, meaning that Abraham wasn't just a random choice. He was from the bloodline of Shem, not Japheth, not Ham, because Japheth and Ham want to claim that they're the Hebrews now. But let's continue. It says here, the God whom they knew. So they always knew who the Most High was. So they cast him out from the face of their gods. So here we see that here Abraham and his father and his family left the Ur of the Chaldees. Then their God commanded them to depart from the place where they sojourned and to go into the land of Canaan, you see. So they left the Ur of the Chaldees, went into Mesopotamia, like Haran, that northern part up there, like Iraq, east of Syria, north of Iraq. Okay? And then from there, they were told to depart to Canaan. Now, why is this important? Well, because this is where the tribes come from. Are we forgetting who Abraham was? What is? He even is mentioned in Joshua 24 regarding why it's important to never forget who we are. Joshua 24:1. Joshua gathered all the tribes of Israel to Shem to call to the elders of Israel, and for their heads, and for their judges, and for their officers, and they presented themselves before God. And Joshua said unto all the people, Thus say the Lord God of Israel, your fathers dwelt on the other side of the flood in the old time, even Terah, the father of Abraham, and the father of Nachor, and they served other gods. And I took your father Abraham from the other side of the flood and led him throughout all the land of Canaan. Now remember, keep in mind that if they were in idolatry because they were serving other gods, based on what was going on in the New Testament, so to speak, would they be more considered Samaritans? Yeah, you're damn right they would be. You know what I'm saying? They would be, because they're not keeping the laws, they're worshiping other gods. That was the point of the Northern Kingdom, Southern Kingdom to split. That's why Jews, so-called Southern Kingdom, was like, nah, you guys are wicked demons. You see where we're going with this? Why it's important to know your history? Who are you? That's the question. Remember this. Never forget. Who are you? That is important. Here we're connecting the dots. So he took Abraham from the other side, who came from an idolatrous father, an idolatrous grandfather, an idolatrous great-great-grandfather. It's like 4 generations of idolatry. I'm telling you, family. That's why it's important to know this book. So here we see a description of the Indies showing that we are those people, could be, has to be, because, how else can it be explained, the similarities in customs and languages and traditions and food and all of that shit. And then another guy says, nah, they're not it, but you know what? They're Chaldeans. Okay, so which one is it? It's like the people come here to this channel and say, no, you're not the Hebrews, you're these other people. It's like, well, I just proved that I'm not. Well, it doesn't matter now. I will tell you this. It was prophesied that this would happen. Deuteronomy 33:17 says this: his glory is like the firstling of his bullock, and his horns are like the horns of unicorns. With them he shall push the people together to the ends of the earth. And they are the 10,000 of Ephraim and the 10,000 of Manasseh, Zebulun, right? You see Issachar, right? He's talking about he shall lead them out. With them shall push them to the ends of the earth. To the ends of the earth. Remember that. You know what's so funny? I'm not connecting the dots that way, but I thought it was very interesting that the scriptures have the word that says, push the people to the ends of the earth. I'm sorry, and his glory is like the firstling of the bullock. I'm sorry, his glory is like the firstling of his bullock, and his horns are like the horns of unicorns. With them he shall push the people together to the ends of the earth. So it says your Ephraim and Manasseh will be leading the 10 tribes to this side of town, right? Here's what I find so interesting. You know that section that says Arsareth? Right? It says Arsareth. Right? Arsareth. It also has a unicorn. That's funny, huh? As unicorns pushed to the ends of the earth. His glory is like the first link of his bullock, and his horns are like the horns of unicorn. With them he shall push the people together to the ends of the earth. To where? To the land of Arsareth? Traveling somewhere? It even says it in Baruch. Check this out. Baruch 4:36 says this. Write this stuff down. O Jerusalem, look about thee towards the east, and behold, the joy that cometh unto thee from God. Towards the east. Towards the east. Baruch 5:5. Arise, O Jerusalem, and stand high, and look about towards the east. And behold, thy children gather from the west unto the east by the word of the Holy One. From the west unto the east by the Holy One. You see what I'm saying? We didn't go around Africa, family. It went from the west to the east. Led by what? By the Holy One, rejoicing in the remembrance of God. Because if you read 2 Ezra 13, don't forget, because that's important. It's talking about that man here. If you read verse 1 through, 23, 24, he's telling them what's going on. He sees this man among the ocean, among many people. And he's bringing these tribes back together. Are we forgetting? Are we forgetting the book now? Did it not, comprehend to the mind? So now we're seeing that there's this region where people, never mankind dwelled, and now that they're here, well, what does that mean? We know that for a long time, this was called the third part, first part, second part, third part of the world, but this was never called any part until later. America is the fourth part of the earth, the so-called area, continent. In Revelations 6 and 8, it actually says it, and I'm going to confirm it with some books. Revelation 6:8. Then I looked and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and he followed with him, and power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth, to kill with the sword, and with hunger, and with death, and with the beasts of the earth. You see that? The fourth part. The fourth part, right? Like, oh, the fourth part could be something else. Okay, sounds good. I'll give you some material. Here you go. Confirmation. Geography rectified, a description of the world in all its kingdoms, provinces, and countries from 1693. Okay, let's read this real quick. Let's see. Is it this one? This one goes America. We're gonna see the word America. It goes, I believe it's here. Hold on a second. Let me see. Is this one? Give me a second, fam. Man, I used to find it real easy. Now I can't find it anymore. Here it goes, right here. On page 5. Okay. On page 5, it says, according to the greater integrating parts thereof, the ancients divided the whole earth into 3 parts. For example, Europe, Asia, and Africa. Okay, 3 parts. To which now added a 4th, America. These are again divided into provinces. So now the 4th part is who? America. America is the 4th part. So here we see this here. Now, I'm going to show you something real quick. This is a very, very heavy duty book here. And I don't know how else can it be concluded. Because when I read this, I was very amazed. You see, a lot of times people think that we're regurgitating, camp shit, right? A lot of times they think we're regurgitating camp shit. But no, family. You see, there are people out there that have taken the time to study this stuff. And guess what? Not only do we see the Bible speaking about certain people traveling to certain areas with keeping some of their customs and eventually falling off again from that, right? Because scriptures say that they will bring the east wind. The east wind will come to the north. I don't have the scripture; it just came to mind. But for the sake of time, I want to just continue with my thought. Okay, so it talks about the east wind. Now, a lot of people here forget the importance of reading. Reading is important, and reading is significant, and it's important because this is where we're going to find our history. Okay, I'm going to go to page 161. Check this out. 162. This is in Spanish. This is from a book called, my bad, Colecciones de libros raros o curiosos que tratan de América. Tomo tercero. Okay? 161. 161. Now, we talk about Deuteronomy 28, right? A lot of you guys know about Deuteronomy 28. And Brother Job, you know what's up with Deuteronomy 28. I don't even got to go, any explanation. Guaracuya, you know about Deuteronomy 28. This stuff is heavy. And you know what? For you guys that decided to leave, all praises to the Most High. This information ain't for you. That's the beauty about all this stuff. This information ain't for you. Because if you skedaddled, man, this was a perfect time to be here. Any more proof? I don't know what else to tell you. On page 162, Not only am I referencing this, not only am I saying that these curses pertain to you guys, but they're freaking saying it themselves. Check this out. No sé cómo no se advierte en el capítulo 28 del Deuteronomio, donde hecho Moisés maldiciones sobre las tribus y judíos que degenerasen de su ley, que se han verificado en estos indios. Y les dice después de otras maldiciones en el número 36. So he's saying that the same thing that Moses told the tribes of Israel is being verified with these Indians. He goes, for example, in verse 36, a ti y a tu rey y a tus padres e hijos es entregado Dios a otra gente que tú ignoras. Y más abajo. Then he says, verse 41. So he says in verse 36, he's referencing verse 36. The Lord shall bring thee and thy kings which thou shalt set over thee unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known. And there thou shalt serve other gods, which with gods wood and stone. So he's saying, yeah, you never knew them. You never knew us. Then he says, verse 41, engendraré hijos y hijas y no gozaréis de ellos, porque otros poseerán, y luego el número. So he's talking about verse 41. Thou shalt have olives, thou shalt beget sons and daughters, but thou shalt not enjoy them, for they shall go into captivity. He's confirming Deuteronomy 28 for us. Verse 43, right there. It says here, the stranger that is within you shall get above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. It says, las alienígenes que vinieron a vuestra tierra tendrán dominio sobre vosotros, siendo ellos sus superiores, superiores y vosotros inferiores. Then he brings out verse 49. Traeré Dios una gente de muy lejos, de los fines de la tierra, a semejanza de águilas voladoras, con gran ímpetu y estrepito, gente que no entendéis su lengua, y poseerán vuestras tierras y frutos. Y después de otras maldiciones, les dijo Moisés en el número, desparramaremos Dios por todos los pueblos de la tierra, desde lo sumo y alto de ella hasta los términos. Esto es, los fines de ella, sirviendo a ídolos que ni vosotros ni vuestros padres conocieron. Y entre aquellas gentes y a quienes os has de entregar, no sabéis de tener descanso, ni sosegarán vuestros pies, y os llenará Dios de corazón trémulo y pávidos, y ojos descaecidos, y hasta vuestras almas se irán consumiendo de tristeza, de noche y de día estaréis temblando. Then he says this, no es necesario glosar este lugar, que él mismo está indicando con qué gente habla, y que los vicios de las tribus las trajeron a estas indias, mezclándose después de algunos años y con idolatrías, aunque ya ellos lo eran por las naciones que pasaron. You see what he's saying here? He's talking about that Deuteronomy 28 literally applies to the natives here. This is the man confirming that. I don't know what else to tell you. Why do you think it was important for the migration? Now, in case you guys aren't familiar with this stuff here, the trip to Christopher Columbus is in the Bible. Okay? So here, if you read chapter 14, it's actually talking about Christopher Columbus here. Him sailing. For the sake of time, you guys can read it later. I want to get a couple hours in and then we're through. Here we see that. Now, that's why we need to realize that Christopher Columbus wasn't a fool. Matter of fact, His brother brought this out, and I took a picture of it. Simon Wiesenthal, he says, el judaísmo del descubridor es también alentado por el famoso cazador de nazis, Simon Wiesenthal. He was a Nazi persecutor. He says, quien sostiene que el viaje al Nuevo Mundo era en realidad la búsqueda que un país en el cual se habrían refugiado los descendientes de las 10 tribus de Israel. Do you understand what that means? This guy knows what you guys didn't. There's a book called Sails of Hope. I'm sure you guys are familiar with it. And in this book here, on page 216, sorry, it says something very interesting. Check it. See if I can get it real quick. Right here. Listen to this. Page 216. To the last, Columbus believed. Hold on, let me go here. To the last, Columbus believed that the island he had reached were close to India. To what extent he hoped that Jewish people would be found there is, of course, not known. Excuse me? You understand what it says? To what extent he hoped that Jewish people would be found there is, of course, not known. Why even ask that question? This was a concern he locked away in the innermost recesses of his soul. But among his contemporaries, the belief was slow to die. And since the first voyagers and colonists, don't ever forget, carried this notion with them, it is not surprising that they regarded the natives from this angle and looked for whatever sign they might think linked the Indians with the 10 tribes of Israel. The first to branch this possibility was Bishop Las Casas, who spent much of his life long in the New World, and wrote a number of invaluable accounts of the Indians and their customs. You see this? Then it says, when the Spaniards reached the mainland of South America and conquered the kingdom of Peru, where they spoke Quechua, they were again disposed to look for evidence that the Peruvians were of Jewish origin. In 1607, Gregorio Garcia expressed the view that the first inhabitants of the Americas had been Jewish. In 1650, the same opinion was put forward by the Englishman Thomas Thorogood, Meshiacha Israel, a Portuguese rabbi who lived in Amsterdam, and was responsible for persuading Cromwell to readmit the Jews to England. Also shared his conviction. He had been assured by the Portuguese Marano from Villaflor, who called himself Montesino, and then assumed that the name of Aaron Levi, that in South America he had associated with the Jews that belonged to the 10 tribes of Israel. Meshiacha Israel issued a pamphlet in which he tried to support his contention. The essay created such a stir that it was soon published in Latin, Spanish, Dutch, English, and Hebrew. In 1823, Joseph Smith, the founder of the Mormon sect, wrote a lengthy treatise propounding his own version of the idea. The theory was so exciting, interesting throughout the 19th century. In 1881, Santiago Perez Janquera reissued Smith's treaty in Spanish. Lord Kingsborough devoted the greater part of his time and fortune to publish a collection of American documents that might serve to prove the original inhabitants of the Americas had descended from Jews. The Spanish ecclesiastical Lord Lan came to the same conclusion. His published manuscript on the subject may be found in the Biblioteca de San Pablo in Sevilla. Scholars now begin to approach the problem from a scientific point of view, drawing upon the old accounts of the first voyagers, explorers, and missionaries. They noted that many parables and basic religious tenets, including a belief in the life after death, in religious customs, in the organization of priesthood, in the prophecies and dream interpretation, in the religious sacrifices, and in the appointments of the day of the rest, a Sabbath. Similar features could also be found in the myths of the Indians and the ancient Hebrews. The Spanish ecclesiastic Roldan undertook to prove a common origin between the Jews and the original inhabitants of America on the basis of the linguistic evidence. He had studied the language of Indian in Haiti, Cuba, Jamaica, and neighboring islands, and maintained that it showed similarities to Hebrew. According to him, the islands had been given by their names by caciques, the tribal leaders of the nomads who had discovered and populated them. The names Cuba and Haiti were, Roland's mind, of Hebrew origin. Check this out. He believed that much of the basic vocabulary and the common names in use among the Indians likewise came from the Hebrew. Thus, he argued that the word hyena, water, came from the Hebrew ain, Jonas from Jonah, Yaki from Jacob, Uris from Unais, Saibao from Seba, Maisi from Moises or Moisi. The names of some Indian tools of the narrow trails they use kansas. The word ashi or for pepper. The word for corn, granary, and for grain in general suggests its kinship with the Hebrew language. Sorry. So you see all of this stuff. Now check this out. The anthropological approach also used some interesting parallels. 16th century accounts of Indians' customs prove a rich source of information. The Indians had been required to practice frequent rituals, washing rivers and springs. They had been forbidden to touch the dead, to drink blood, or to eat certain specific fast days. They married their sister-in-law if these were widowed while childless. They also divorced women who remained childless. Like the Israelites, they sacrificed first fruits, made offerings to their God on high mountain under the shady trees. They had temples and a sacred object that in wartime they carried before them as the Israelites had borne the Ark of the Covenant. Isaiah chapter 50. Hey, chill out. This is just something that should just blow your mind. Sincerely, we just read about Valera. We read about the history of the Indies. Matter of fact, let me show you this real quick. Let me see if I can get it. Is it this one? Hold on. Let me see. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can get it here. Is it this one? Give me a moment, family. I'm trying to beat this illness. Let's see if I wrote this down. Give me a second. Sorry. It's bad. It's bad. I think it's in here. No, where did I put it? Oh, my bad. Hold on. Hold on, family. I know I put it somewhere. Give me a second. Napoleon. Thought I had it over here. This one. Oh man, don't tell me I lost it. Let's see. I think it's here. Let's see. Christopher Columbus' participation of the Jews. There's a hope. Yep, here it goes right here. I thought this was an interesting page. Because here, let me get my books here real quick. I thought this was an interesting page because when you look at the history of our people and you really see that the number that they did on us, excuse me, it should be extremely insulting. So like, I'm giving you a history with this process or its timeline. Okay. So now that we get an idea of how we migrated this way, right? And then we're gonna kind of see a little bit about what happens when they get it. We should be almost done. I introduced you to this book here. Very interesting. It's called Apuntos Históricos y Críticos sobre la aparición de la Virgen María. All right. But the topic is not about the Virgen María. The topic is about this here. La Virgen de Guadalupe. Okay. La coronación de, my bad. la connotación de la Virgen de Guadalupe juzgada desde el punto de vista política. So for you guys that loved the Virgin Mary, and you're away from that, all praises to the Most High, because that is a demon. That shit is fake. It's not real. It was invented. It was all made up. Okay. However you feel about that comment, oh well. Prove me wrong, and I'll prove you wrong for sure. Now, let me go ahead and almost finish up real quick. Let me show you something real quick. I'm gonna read you this part right here. I think. ¿Dónde estamos? Let me see. I think this is it. Let me show you something. ¿Dónde están los conquistadores? Let's see if it's here. Querían que los indios hicieran el mal. Here it goes. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I thought I had it marked. I guess it didn't highlight it for me this time. Let me see. Let's see. Here it goes. Here it goes right here. So, falsedad de la aparición de la Virgen de Guadalupe. Okay. Check this out. You guys can get this book. Not difficult. It's on Google Books. Okay. Here we clearly see that this is a bullshit story. Sumarraga, that damn demon, was the one that invented that history. But that's not the point. My point right now is this here. On page 51, let's explore this real quick. Let's see. Check this out. Okay. Now it says, page 51. Follow me. I'm going to read a little bit of here, and then I'm going to skip and go here. Los españoles no creyeron en lo que dijo Juan Diego respecto a la aparición, ni tampoco en la expresera Juan Bernardino, porque para ellos los indios eran seres irracionales o judíos. Okay? So it says here the Spaniards did not deal with us. We were irrational, or because we were Jews. Y se necesita que el Papa Pablo III los sacara de su error. So he's talking about the only way we would do anything for them or believe these fools is if they actually wrote a decree. Now, why is that so? To summarize, here in this section is basically he's explaining here in this section, Fray Pablo Baumont, Franciscano, right, de Querétaro, he's explaining why they feel that way. Basically, they say that, well, indios and judío is a similar word because if you put indio, like here, where you at? Indio, right? INDIOS. If you put a J here and you flip over the N, it becomes judíos or indios, right? So these Spaniards said that the reason why, it says, this is why we hurt them. Y podemos azotar a los indios y exigirles todo el dinero que se pueda, porque son hermanos, because they're brethren, de los que crucificaron a Jesucristo. See that? It's literally saying that they were punishing us because we were the brothers of the Meshiach, and that we punished them. Según es la creencia que los españoles tienen de los indios. Es evidente que ellos no creyeron. Give me a moment, fam. I'll be right back. Anyhow, all right, fam. Where I live. I gotta be going pretty soon. But here we see basically, según es la creencia que los españoles tenían de los indios, es evidente que ellos no creyeron en que la Virgen María se pareciera a Juan Diego. Zumarraga apenas pudo en los años 15 días construir una ermita del Tepeyec para su imagen. So here, y temía la burla de los conquistadores. So see what I'm saying? The conquistadores didn't even believe this guy. But here we see that the conquistadores were punishing our people, our forefathers, because why? Because they believe that we're related to them, right? So now check this out. I'm gonna show you a video. I'm gonna show you a video that basically confirms it. Now you guys know this. In case you didn't, I'm saying in case you didn't know this, you should know this now because this is historical. You can even Google it in Wikipedia the stuff. It basically proved that they would hang us by 12 with one person, considering him being the Mashiach. Okay, so that's true. The Spaniards would burn us by 13, one of them being the Messiah. Look what it says here, and then we're done, fam. All right, I have to go because my son needs me.
¿Por qué nos unís a los franciscanos si salváis sus almas? Si es que las tienen. Si se entromete, restable.
A ver, los evangelistas, Mateo, Marcos, Lucas, Juan. Padre, ¿podéis ayudarme? Creo que he olvidado los nombres. César. Carlos. Manolo. Paco.
Federico. Rodrigo.
Felipe.
A ver, ¿quién hará de Jesucristo?
Let's see who's gonna be the Jesucristo that gets burned. Now they here in the movie, for the sake of the movie, they burned them individually. But what they would do to us is they would burn us by 12, and then add the Mashiach as 13. Check this out. Conquistadors burn natives by 12, and then one was Jesus. Let's see. I think it's right here. Look at this here. It's right here. Check this out. I didn't even have to dig that deep. Look at this. Look at this. See the burning, right? Check this out. Let me see. Is it right here? Hold on a second, fam. I thought I had it. Let's see. Maybe hold on. Maybe it's the wrong link. My bad. Excuse me. Come on, bro. It goes right here. Let's see if it's this one. I'm going to show you this picture, and I'm going to find the actual info that says it. Here we see, if you guys can count them, that's actually 12 and 13. You see one's facing them? See that? One is actually facing them. Look, here it goes right here. Thank goodness. Thank you, Father. Check this out. You see that? It says on the bottom, they built a long gibbet, low enough for the toes to touch the ground to prevent strangling, and hanging 13 natives at the time of honor of Christ our Savior and the 12 apostles. Pay attention, family. Our history is all over the place.
¿Por qué nos unís a los franciscanos si salváis sus almas? Si es que las tienen. Si se entromete, restable.
A ver, los evangelistas, Mateo, Marcos, Lucas, Juan. Padre, ¿podéis ayudarme? Creo que he olvidado los nombres. César. Carlos. Manolo. Paco.
Federico.
Rodrigo. Felipe.
A ver, ¿quién hará de Jesucristo?
You see? So anyways, my bad, man. I really gotta go. Dispensa, homies. Dispensa. Gotta go, man. I didn't realize my wife left and my son's here. He needs my help. And I hope this was edifying, man. I didn't have to go long, 2 hours. I think it was good. You know, I hope you guys really learned today. I hope you really learned something. You can really take time to take the notes down. Obviously, this is all recorded. You know what I'm saying? You guys can catch this shit later on, so it's all to the cheese, man. Other than that, thank you so much, family, for listening in, man. You know what I'm saying? And supportive to this channel, through my walk, those phone calls I've had for you, brother, with you, brothers, man. I appreciate y'all. And Lord willing, we stay in the fight, man, because every day we're learning and growing even more and getting stronger spiritually, even more. And blessings are there. Trust and believe they are there. Trust and believe they are there. But a lot of the times it takes repentance. Lord willing, I can do a class regarding Abraham and the process to repentance. Deep. Can go into the topic. You know what I mean? Other than that, I hope I was able to answer some of those questions. Good night.
Viven huyendo de la envidia como los niños en Siria de la bomba que le manda el Pentágono. Y todo el día, mamá mía, keeping it mood, that's so real. Love man, I never fear, never, no. La travesía de la vida más que misericordiosa y nuestra prosa siempre para allá favor, no. Tú podrás por mí traicionar a tu familia, matar tu brazo, sangre si vos sabías, pero yo no. Familia, familia, es el que está a la mínimo. Familia, familia, comparte almas cristalinas. Familia, familia, Rasta Giant familia. Familia, familia, Magna White son familia, ya no maniga.
خواتي شو من حالي وشو من حالي هني بالك ربي كبير وربي عالي هو اللي جاي يديني اليوم وباغي سالي ربي يغفر لي ولا دراري خواتي شو من حالي وشو من حالي هني بالك ربي كبير وربي عالي هو اللي جاي يديني اليوم وباغي سالي ربي يغفر لي ولا دراري un sueño donde no había amor, se perdía el color de una flor, se marchaba lentamente, con el sol en el horizonte, pude hacer algo para calmar en mi dolor, y es por eso que le pongo flow, vibrando alto siempre, burruco bimba, y es que todo por la familia, burruco bimba, y es por eso vengo a bendecir. Burruco bimba, y es que todo por la familia. Burruco bimba, y es por eso vengo a bendecir.
Familia, familia, es el que está a la mínimo. Familia, familia, comparte almas cristalinas. Familia, familia, Rasta Giant familia. Familia, familia, Magna White son familia, ya no maniga.
Magna superslalom, subiendo a nuevo escalón. Metallic in the salon, esquivo like Sil Stallone. Esos bitch van del palo, pero bitch no rascan balón. Aunque me enrollo nada cáñamo, nunca me paro. Aunque van tras de mí, no se pueden medir. Buscan el elixir, está metalizado. Y es que yo soy así, no van a descubrir sexy flow y skill con este descaro. Si familia necesita de ti, fíjalo. Burruco Connection Antarctic Field, dígalo. A mí nadie area de París, día yo. Los magnates han llegado, están aquí, píalo. Para soportar el dolor como no imaginas, es la vida en ámbar. Aunque creas que no puedes tú solo con la movida, yo llevaré tus bambas. Familia, familia, fighting the hate and the media. Familia, familia, it's original, man. Familia, familia, fighting the hate and the media. Familia, familia, yo soy un rocket, ellos abrilia. Con los míos siempre se lo baila. Menea, melena, remueve la vaina. Aunque agarre fuerte el fruto pa' que no se caiga. Son los magna de post final. Con los míos siempre se lo baila. Menea, melena, remueve la vaina. Aunque agarre fuerte el fruto pa' que no se caiga. Son los magna.
Hola, ¿qué tal?
Disparo a millas sin mirar y sin mirar, sin asimilar que es la puta herida de tu vida hurgo. Los manates, la chatarrilla hacen pa' pillar piltrafillas, tres donos nos pilla y se va con la furgo. Te hará falta una pedicura y una cura, si se apura, quizás llega la locura de mi turbo. Dale vueltas a la partícula, deja ya la mandíbula quieta que sola llega a Luxemburgo.
Niño que para la compota que la pera pasa.
Pero vine
probarla. Que pone el ritmo y los manos les tocan 4 patas. ¿Quieres esa vaina para probarla? Todo lo que hay en el party donde se gana. What the fuck, what the girl, what an alma. Vive muriendo de la envidia como los niños en Siria de la bomba que le manda el Pentágono. Y todo el día, mamá mía, keeping it that's so real. Lo es man, never fear, never, no. La travesía de la vida más que misericordiosa y nuestra prosa siempre para allá fabono. Tú podrás por mierda traicionar a tu familia, matar tu brazo, sangre, fiapo, sabías, pero yo no. Familia, familia, es el que está a la mínimo. Familia, familia, comparte almas cristalinas. Familia, familia, Rastafarian familia. Familia, familia, Magna by su familia, ya no maniga. Bombo cry, sing it, sing it, sing it, sing it, cross the line on them. Warrior, vengo con lo mío, Magna get to life, fire them. Bombo cry, sing it, sing it, sing it, sing it, cross the line on them. Warrior, vengo con los manas y saqué to life, fire them. I could stop, shut up on the microphone ballad, and let's smoke the marijuana, psycho Buddha bombo clap. Bang bang in the street, fire burn it, fill it with. Rastaman over Illuminati, play the kill. Stop, shut up on the microphone ballad, and let's smoke the marijuana, psycho Buddha bombo clap. Bang bang in the street, fire burn it, fill it with. Key Cray is a king, Magnus thing. Nobody, no kill them. In a crazy style. Chale, no fire them. It's a Rasta ganja. Nobody, no kill them. It's a crispy style. Tally, the fire cream. It's a Rasta ganja. Familia, Rasta chai is familia. Key Cray is familia. Familia, pure nego is familia. Familia, Sico, Key Magneto, familia. Familia, es el que está a la mínima. Familia, compartan las cristaleras. Familia, Rasta Zion familia. Magna boy que te aplastaba, nego.
En la Plaza de Reyes, Black 50, Soplón. Yeah. ¿Qué vas a saber? ¿Qué vas a saber tú? Oye, chibolito, faltomé. Pulpín de los pulpines, batería de Rapunzel, de rapeos, de raptos, de lagartos en cuartel. Cualquier la pega de cruel con un viejo coronel. Soy flojo, se me antojó dormirme en el laurel. Elevé mi level con un label y un Faber-Castell. Ya un papel, lo empape con sangre de todo aquel que se jura Nobel y no ve mis trenes en la riel. What's so man? ¿Por qué no sacan la tablet? Juro por mis abuelos que no te hablo por las powers. Soy chinchano neto, búscame por Pico Sour y te voy a meter al centro loco como Beckenbauer. Escúchame atento mi pro, que estamos rompiéndole en pro. El negro de Plaza de Reyes como siempre rompe de este micrófono. Que quiere meterle como yo pero no puede meterle taco pro. Si te pensaba que solo era un gallo, déjame decirle que se equivocó. Real motherfucker feeling on the street. Es el Black Sheep Mental de Plaza de Kings. Motherfucker Soplón.
Nero Luigi, man, desde Peña, a la victoria, para que sepa. Incas Mo, it's Money Gang, yeah. Yo también he llorado, gente. También me han desplazado por mi rasgo afrodescendiente. Sí, un perro no habla pero siente. Cuento historias callejeras pa' barrios de delincuentes. Soy un perro que te ladra, que te muerde y que te huele, nene. Soy más que Lenny, ustedes para mí son pelele. Con mi jauría todo el día en busca de los cheles. Tengo un perro en fiscalía que nos mueve los papeles y otro en la comisaría para evitar el susto. Muchas veces me han llevado por solo como luzco. Perdón, madre mía, si yo le causé un disgusto, pero en esta vía yo crecí rodeado de perros chuscos. Yo sé que me quieren ganar, yo sé que me quieren tumbar y no pasará porque soy de verdad. Está súper rafina la Dodo Style, metido en latina aprendiendo un quizá. Yo tengo el style, no mido la raza del perro, yo mido por la lealtad y yo soy leal. La calle te enseña lo que no te enseña la universidad. Salí de Peña aquí con una seña, te tiran para atrás. La calle limeña aquí nadie la dueña, ya nada es igual. Tiene que respetar, tiene que respetar. La calle te enseña lo que no te enseña la universidad. Salí de Peña aquí con una seña, te tiran para atrás. La calle limeña aquí nada le duele, ya nada es igual. Tiene que respetar, Luigi, man. Incas mob, yeah. It's money gang, 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 yeah.
Hey, yo. Yango en la maldita casa. Me llaman pa' que les dé al menos una vez al mes. Se metieron al lago y olvidaron que era el mes. For everybody bless. La fama es una puta, me está llamando a las 3. Dile que llame después de las 16 y 25. Volví de la infancia de Abraham Lincoln. Con fuerza ya inco, luchando para salir del rincón. Letra callejera en CD brinco. Under del under. Puede que tu viejo te lo mande. Sale de vez en cuando como el cóndor por los Andes. Mi cuerpo no es de madera como Dandy. Antes que me branden, yo seré el ola que los expande. Aunque esto me pique en la madera, no sirven ni para romper el ticket de un evento afuera. Loco por la carrera, desafían la gravedad. Yo espero tras la barrera y llego con la novedad. Niña, tú solo espera que ya encontré la manera. He visto bastante por querer lograrlo saltando escalones dentro de la escalera. La vida me puso al depósito, yo soy de púlpito pa' que el mundo conociera. De esta parte mejor interprete que parido de esta cordillera. Sin luz afuera, que el espectáculo es dentro. La calle es mi templo, tiembla el pavimento. Cuando yo me concentro, mis disparos son temas. La calle un poema, se siente desde cuando entro. Y a toditos estos drogaditos que creen que rapean, los regreso al centro de mi balcón. Yo he visto el clown del clown en la misma gestión, pero la malla no llega el balón. Y para esta pantalla no soy el patrón. Yo ya me sé la cuestión y doy fe por cada renglón. Consciente de la operación del final de Mbappé con la edad de bufón. De Yango en la maldita casa, Plaza de Rey y papá. El Nero Luigi, Black Mental, hip hop peruano. Rasgo en la maldita base. Yao, yao, yao.
Ical, hijo, abre los ojos. Tu cuerpo se queda con nosotros, pero tu espíritu debe seguir. Busca la luz. Aléjate de las sombras. Deja que nuestro dolor sea tu fuerza. Desde aquí iluminamos tu camino. Lucha como nosotros ante esta pena tan grande. Yo soy tú. Tú eres yo. La muerte que hoy nos separa, mañana volverá a unirnos. Eres libre, hijo.